Hey everyone, welcome back for another deep dive. Today we're going to be looking at a really interesting perspective on money. Get
Go ahead.
this. It comes from a conversation with entities
Yes,
from other realms.
from other realms. Buckle up.
Oh,
We are going to be talking about the work of Bozidar, who is a hypnotherapist, and his daughter, Lara.
okay.
And Lara is the one who actually goes into these hypnotic states and communicates with these entities.
Wow.
Now, before you think we've totally
Yeah.
gone off the deep end here,
Right.
let's just focus on the ideas themselves.
Okay.
Because they have some really interesting things to say about money, and I think it might actually challenge how you think about your own finances.
Okay. So, like, right off the bat, they say that money isn't actually real.
Yeah.
So we all work for it, we spend it, we stress about it.
Right. But what they're getting at is that money is more of a symbol. It's like a representation of the energy exchange that's happening in any transaction.
Yeah.
So think about it this way. If you buy a sandwich in Turkey, it might cost you $5.
Mm-hmm.
But that same sandwich in the U.S. could be $30.
Right.
The price changes. But the energy that went into making that sandwich, the effort, the resources, all of that remains the same.
That's so true.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you ever felt like maybe in a job that the energy you were putting in didn't match the
For sure.
the compensation you were
So,
getting?
absolutely. And I think this is where this concept could really help to explain that feeling.
Interesting.
Because they talk about this idea of energy exchange being central to everything.
Okay.
And they even suggest that there are natural laws that govern this exchange.
Okay.
So essentially, if you receive goods or services without offering energy in return,
Mm-hmm.
you're going to experience a loss at some point.
Mm.
It's almost like a cosmic balancing act.
So, like, what if I were to say consistently take more than I give?
Yeah.
That imbalance would eventually catch up to me.
That's exactly what they're suggesting.
Yeah. So what if somebody steals something? Does
Yeah.
that count?
They actually use theft as a prime example.
Okay.
They say that like a one-time thief might lose what they gained really quickly,
Oh.
but someone who repeatedly steals them, they might seem to be getting away with it for a while,
Mm-hmm.
but they're essentially masking that imbalance.
Yeah.
But eventually,
Right.
the universe will have its say, so to speak.
Wow. This is kind of blowing my mind a little.
Yeah.
It really makes you think about all the times that you've gone above and beyond for someone and you got nothing in return.
Right.
Or, maybe times where you took advantage of a situation.
For sure.
Does this resonate with your own experiences at all?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I think we've all felt that imbalance at some point.
Yeah.
Whether we've been on the giving or receiving end.
Totally.
It's a reminder to be mindful of the energy we bring to our interactions and our transactions.
Yeah.
But this brings up an interesting question. How does this concept of balanced energy exchange explain the existence of billionaires?
Oh, right.
Like, if someone like Bill Gates, for example, has an incredible amount of wealth,
Uh-huh.
how does that fit into this model?
Right. Yeah.
Well, that's a great question, and it's something these entities address directly.
Okay.
They suggest that individuals like Bill Gates operate on kind of a different level of consciousness,
Uh-huh.
and they're playing a part in a larger balance that we might not fully grasp from our limited human perspective.
So are they like cosmic Robin Hoods
Yeah,
redistributing wealth on like a grand scale?
it is wild, isn't it?
It's pretty wild.
But their point is that this larger balance goes beyond just our individual human experience.
Okay.
So maybe these massive accumulations of wealth serve a purpose that we can't even fathom yet.
Okay, I'll admit that's a pretty mind-bending concept.
Right.
But let's shift gears a little bit.
Okay.
These entities also talk about the path to financial success, right? What's their take on that?
Well, they believe that success hinges on what they call goods.
Goods.
And these aren't just physical things.
Right.
It's about the skills, the knowledge, the effort. Basically, anything you bring to the table that adds value to others.
So isn't that just another way of saying skills and talents?
I think the emphasis here is on the exchange.
Oh, okay.
So it's not enough to just possess these goods. You have to actively use them to provide something valuable in an exchange.
Mm-hmm.
So think about it this way in terms of like your own life.
Okay.
Let's say you're really passionate about, I don't know, sustainable living.
Okay.
Your good could be creating educational content or workshops that help other people reduce their carbon footprint.
So it's not just about what you know, but how you use that knowledge to create value for others.
Exactly.
That's pretty insightful.
And they make another interesting point.
What's that?
And this one might be a little tough to swallow.
Okay.
They suggest that the reason so few people achieve significant financial success is because the path often requires choosing the more challenging route, the one that most people just aren't willing to take.
So it's not enough to have the goods, you also need the grit to choose the path less traveled.
Yes.
So what do those challenges look like?
They could be anything from pushing yourself outside your comfort zone to taking risks or just simply persevering when things get tough. They see these challenges as tests that reveal our true potential and commitment.
I can see that. I remember when I first started podcasting, I was terrified of putting myself out there.
Oh, yeah.
But I knew I had something to offer, and I pushed through that fear.
Right.
And look at me now.
Exactly.
Have you ever faced a challenge that really pushed you to grow?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I think early on in my career, I had this tendency to avoid conflict, like try to please everyone.
Okay.
And it took a particularly difficult project and a very direct colleague to kind of help me realize that sometimes you have to stand up for what you believe in.
Right.
Even if it means ruffling some feathers.
Yeah.
And that experience really helped me develop my own voice and leadership skills.
That's a great example. So the entities are saying that while the easier path might seem more appealing, it doesn't offer the same level of growth and ultimately fulfillment.
Yeah.
It's like choosing to take the scenic route instead of a challenging hike.
Yeah.
Sure, the scenic route might be more relaxing,
Right.
but that challenging hike is going to lead you to some breathtaking views and a sense of accomplishment you wouldn't get otherwise.
I love that analogy.
Yeah.
It really highlights the importance of embracing challenges as opportunities for growth.
Totally.
And remember, everyone's journey is different.
Right.
It's not about comparing yourself to others. It's about focusing on your own path and pushing yourself to become the best version of you.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground here.
We have.
We've been talking about money as energy exchange, the need to bring those valuable goods to the table,
Yeah.
and how those challenges are actually essential for growth.
Right.
It's a really different way of looking at success, isn't it?
It is. You know, this whole conversation makes me wonder about something.
Yeah.
If money is truly a representation of energy exchange, like we've been discussing,
Right.
what does that say about the value our society places on different types of work?
That's a great point. Because we often see those like essential jobs like teachers and nurses being paid far less than, say, someone working in finance.
Yeah.
Doesn't that seem to contradict this whole idea?
It's a fascinating question, and honestly one that these entities don't have a simple answer for.
Okay.
But they do seem to suggest that there's a larger, more complex system at play,
Okay.
one that goes beyond our current understanding of economics and societal structures.
So maybe those lower paying jobs are contributing to that larger balance in a way we don't fully appreciate yet.
It's possible.
That's kind of a radical concept.
It is radical,
Mm.
but it does challenge us to really think about our own values and how we define success.
Mm-hmm.
Are we truly valuing those who contribute to our collective well-being?
Yeah.
Or are we more focused on material wealth and individual gain?
Yeah, it makes you wonder what would happen if we shifted our focus from like, how much money can I make,
Right.
to how can I contribute my unique goods
Exactly.
to create a more balanced and fulfilling world.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe that's the real takeaway from this whole deep dive.
Yeah.
It wasn't just about understanding money.
Right.
It was about understanding our own place in a much larger system of energy exchange.
Mm-hmm.
It's about recognizing our own value and the impact we can have on the world around us.
I think you've hit the nail on the head. This conversation has definitely given me a lot to think about.
Good.
I'm already looking at my own work and interactions in a completely different light.
That's great to hear. Well, I hope it sparks some new ideas for you too.
Yeah,
And for all of you listening out there, we'd love for you to reflect on these concepts as well.
absolutely.
What goods do you bring to the table? What challenges have shaped your journey? And how can you use this idea of energy exchange to create a more fulfilling and impactful life?
Until then, keep those minds open and keep exploring.